The fact was that our case was so clear that I actually believed at the end of Aburi that the problem was not Gowon, but probably some ambassadors in Lagos who were pressing for something else. Because we understood each other. We agreed on every single point. The drafting was, in fact, my chief secretary.
Thank you all so much for watching, and don't forget to click that subscribe button below for more amazing content coming your way soon.
So you watched that video of General Odumegwu Ojukwu saying something about the Aburi Accord with Gowon and Ankara in Ghana. Just before we continue, please help me click on the subscribe button, subscribe to this channel, my YouTube channel, and watch this video. It's a long video. I'm going to play it to the full. Just try to watch this video from beginning to the end so that you understand why I say that Ojukwu answered Yakubu Gowon the questions that he raised in his new book. He answered those questions even before he died. Although Ojukwu didn't write an autobiography to explain in detail how the war happened, what led to the war, the meeting in Aburi, the Aburi Accord, and all of those. But if you watch this video, you're going to understand to an extent. Now, Yakubu Gowon in his book is actually saying that Ojukwu, not about the war, Ojukwu was pushing for war and for Biafra, a separate country. But in this video, you are going to see what Ojukwu answered. But let's, before watching the video, let me pose this question to all of us. Did Ojukwu clamor for Biafra? Did Ojukwu clamor for a separate country from Nigeria? Was it a new country that he clamored for, or a confederation where every region, the eastern region, the northern region, the western region, I think the midwestern, I think also, would have their own states and have some sort of independence and have Lagos then as a loose center where every region manage their resources and contribute their quota to the headquarters? Was it a confederation that Ojukwu clamored for in Aburi? Was that what they reached in the agreement? Or it was a separate country? Watch this video and drop it in the comment section, please. Also help me to share this video. I want to get answer because I don't know if Gowon is being honest enough in his autobiography or he's managing truths. As the saying goes, Yakubu manage. I don't know if he's managing it or he's being honest. Was it just a country that Ojukwu clamored for, a separate country, or confederalism that will benefit everybody? And looking at our country today, which would have been better? Which would have been better? Separate regions managing the resources, or the way Nigeria is being managed? We've been looted dry, like the president who wields so much power. Like you can see somebody like, I don't know, but they wield so much power. The state has no control of their security. They have no control of the police, have no control of the army. In fact, let me just use the word security. They don't have no control of the security, governors of the state or states. That's why you see bandits, a lot of things happening, terrorism happening in the state, and the state governor is helpless. That's why you see that even in Niger State, where school girls were kidnapped, that they said that information came in, intel came in that those bandits, those guys were going to come. But nothing was done because order from Abuja would just come and say, don't do this, or withdraw the security, withdraw the police, withdraw the army. If it were a confederation like Ojukwu and Gowon reached in Aburi on that accord, you see that the state will have management, control of the security, and they wouldn't just allow any elements. They wouldn't just allow any unscrupulous elements to just infiltrate the state and start massacring people, start killing people. No, it wouldn't be possible. And there will be competitiveness, there will be competition among all the regions or states. But I think so. That's why I am asking if Gowon is being economical with truth or is being honest. Just watch this video to see what Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu said. If I just watch this video and drop your comments, don't forget, help me click on the subscribe button, like my video, subscribe, put it on notification bell. Put the notification bell on so that when I post videos, because I'm going to post a lot of videos with regards to this, you will get notification. And also help me to share this video. Let it go viral. What do you think? Drop your comments. What is your take on this? Just watch this video in full. Watch it in full from beginning to the end so that you understand what I'm saying.
But at the end of it, I don't want to go because these things are all, the tapes are available. The records are there. In fact, only about 2 weeks ago, I saw a set of the records again. The transcripts are available. But we talked about the Nigerian situation. And certainly, at the end, everybody says, oh, you told them this, you did that. The fact was that our case was so clear that I actually believe at the end of Aburi that the problem was not Gowon, but probably some ambassadors in Lagos who were pressing for something else. Because we understood each other. We agreed on every single point. The drafting was, in fact, my chief secretary with 2 other chief secretaries from the other side. They said, no, and drafted and agreed. We looked at it, we agreed. General Ankara read over the whole report again to us at the end. Asked us if we wanted to amend anything. No. At the end of all that, the position was so good that actually Ankara drove Jack Gowon and myself to the airport. Jack was sitting on his left, I was sitting on his right. He was in the middle. And in the course of that journey, at a point, General Ankara shook his head and said, oh, thank you. Thank you. If only we can go on like this, everything would be all right. I believe I was the one. As I do now from time to time, I go for the dramatic. Suddenly I picked up Gowon's hand, put it on Ankara's lap, brought my other hand, placed it on it, and I said, General sir, hold us together, I want to say something. So General Ankara put his hand on top of the 2 hands, and I said, General, I want to assure you that I am totally satisfied with everything we said. I will even go further and say to you something I did not say at the conference, and that is that once we have implemented everything we have said, I would ask you for one favor and one favor only, and that would be to be the one to propose Jack Gowon as a head of state of Nigeria.
It was a 2-day conference of peers and old mates, but its aftermath produced even further controversy.
When we came back, and Ojukwu did not go to make the statement he made first, virtually giving the impression that we've agreed for a confederation to move apart, etc., which was really not in exactly that. If I had had the opportunity to make my broadcast first, because that was the agreement, not for him to make the broadcast first, then if I had committed myself to what he said, then there wouldn't have been any problem. But he went and said certain things that certainly looked wrong, and therefore we saw in practically everything he did, I think it was for to play up to the gallery, not being sincere.
At Aburi, yes, we agreed on area commands for the armed forces. At Aburi, we agreed that the police force would be decentralized. We agreed on those. Yes. We agreed even to show that we didn't separate. At Aburi, we also agreed on certain revenue formula. That's what happened at Aburi. Aburi again, because I always end up, it sounds odd today, but I always end up by saying I must have been naive, because I believed actually that would be the end. I'll confess to you, when I got back to Enugu, oh yes, I had a party, believing that probably the danger was over. That's what we thought. Until they then began to deny everything. It was the denial of Nigeria that made me publish the tapes of Aburi, because we had insisted that each one should have a set of tapes. Everybody talks about Confederation. Go and look at the transcript. There is no time that the word Confederation came from my lips.
In broad terms, Aburi changed the title of head of state from Supreme Military Commander to Commander-in-Chief. It gave the regions control over internal affairs, and concurrence of each region was now required for any decision affecting the whole country.